I know what it's like to be the skinny guy. It's this weird phase where you aren't getting the attraction that you want from women. You'll see them kind of go for these more muscular, jacked looking guys. And guys will kind of subtly disrespect you and pick on you for being skinny. Could even be your friends. And it's not necessarily outright bullying, but it's just all the teasing. It just doesn't make you feel good about yourself. It kind of makes you out to feel like this low status guy, and it's just not a good feeling. But I can tell you right now, when you end up making the transformation from being that skinny, weak looking guy to actually being jacked and more muscular, the way that girls perceive you, the respect that you'll get from other guys, and overall just the confidence that you'll have in yourself, it's just like a complete night and day difference. So in case you don't know who I am, I'm Neal. I've made that transformation from being the skinny guy to being more muscular, and I make videos like this to help guys like you to make the transformation. So in this video, I'm going to go over 5 crucial steps that if you want to go from a skinny guy to being jacked, I believe that you should really take these into consideration. Now, the first thing that we have to tackle is your beliefs. The thing with beliefs, and honestly, a lot of people don't talk about this, but this is like, it's the main root as to why like people aren't able to make the transformation. Basically, when you have beliefs that are limiting you, it stops you from making the progress. It stops you from making the transformation. Like for me, back when I was skinny, I had a lot of beliefs that were holding me back. One of which was that looks don't really matter. I thought to myself, well, looks don't really matter. Someone should, or people should appreciate you and respect you just for, who you are as a person. And the thing is, that was stopping me from making the transformation that I wanted to make. Like, regardless of whether or not that belief was objectively true or, wrong, it was stopping me from making my transformation. Because if that was true, if my belief was true, which I did believe it was true, there would really be no point in like transforming my body. Because it's like, well, if people should just respect me for and like me just because of the way I am, why should I even change my body, And, it can be a lot of different beliefs. Everybody might have like different things. Like some guys think, oh yeah, because of my genetics, I'm just supposed to be like this. I'm not able to get jacked because, this is just how my genetics are. I'm just supposed to be skinny. And the thing is, if you believe that, subconsciously, you're going to fight for that and you're not going to be able to make progress. Like you could go to the gym, you can try and eat more calories, you can try and like do things to build more muscle. But if you still have this subconscious belief that, oh yeah, I just can't do it because of my genetics, you are going to self-sabotage yourself and not be able to make that progress because, you just have that belief. Why would you try and do something? Why would you act out of accordance with that belief if you believe that you can't do it in the first place? Does that make sense? Like, if you don't believe in something, you're just not going to act in a way that opposes that. That's just like kind of a part of human nature. So something that can really help you, like a practical action step that you can take on this, is that related to like becoming jacked, you can write down like on a piece of paper, just pen and paper, write down like all the beliefs, like limiting beliefs that are stopping you from becoming jacked. Like you may believe, oh yeah, because of my genetics, I'm not able to, become more muscular, or I just like have bad genes, or, looks don't really matter. Whatever those beliefs are, just write it down on paper. And then once you write all of this down, you can pause this video if you have to. Once you have all of those written down, you just write the antithesis to this. So if you say, okay, well, because of my genetics, I can't become jacked, the opposite of that is, oh, because of my genetics, I can become jacked. Or if your belief is, looks don't matter, you just write the opposite of that, looks do matter. Now, obviously, just writing these things down may not like immediately change your actual beliefs, but what you want to do is you just want to like build support beams for these beliefs, essentially. So you have reasons to believe, this old negative, like limiting belief. Now you're just going to come up with reasons why your new belief is true. So if you say that, or if your old belief was, oh, because of my genetics, I can't become jacked, you could just come up with reasons why the opposite is true. Like you can say, oh, well, maybe I can become jacked because of my genetics because, I have this cousin that I know and he's pretty jacked. So, naturally I have like at least some of his genes. So maybe I can become jacked. Or maybe you've seen like some transformation on Instagram or something, and it was this really skinny guy who like was really fucking skinny, and then you saw he made a transformation. So you're like, well, maybe, my genetics aren't stopping me. Whatever it is for you, just come up with reasons to support that new belief and try and like, I guess just like trick your mind into thinking like this new belief is real. And once you start to do that, and you'll be able to start to act in accordance with that new belief. I know this may sound a little bit complicated, but essentially the big point is change your limiting beliefs so that they aren't stopping you in like self-sabotaging you essentially. Now, the second crucial step, if you want to start like to become jacked as a skinny guy, is you need to eat at its calorie surplus. I used to try to like do this for a while. Pretty much like in my mind, I was just like, okay, just eat more food, eat past the point that you're full, and you're going to be at a calorie surplus. But the thing is, that's not actually how it works. It's kind of how it works, but not exactly. You can eat a lot of food, but still like not be at a calorie surplus. What really helped me is when I downloaded this free app called MyFitnessPal. I'm not affiliated with them or anything. It's just like the app that I use, and it's like been a huge game changer. Pretty much what you'll do before you eat every meal, like whenever, like throughout the day, you'll just input what you're eating, like before you actually eat the meal. And then once you eat it, pretty much it's going to track the amount of calories that you're eating throughout the day. And as you like keep doing this, keep building this consistent habit, you're going to like have this data of how much calories you're consistently eating. And if you're still skinny, if you're not getting any weight, you can say, okay, well, I just need to increase the amount of calories that I'm eating. Say you're eating only 2,000 a day, increase that to 2,500, whatever it is for you, whatever amount you want to increase it to. And by doing that, you're going to have an objective measure of like how many calories you're eating. So pretty much the thing is, once you start to become more objective of the actual measurements, it just becomes child's play because it's taking out all of the guesswork. Your brain can't trick you into thinking that you're eating more than you actually are. Again, it's just an objective measure, and yeah, it's a huge game changer once you can actually do that. The third crucial step is to do muscle building workouts. I wouldn't say I would exercise a lot, but the exercise that I would do, it was like more cardio things like running or, just cardio based exercise. The thing is, if you want to build muscle, you have to do like muscle building exercises. And specifically, what will help you the most is doing hypertrophy workouts. Pretty much what hypertrophy is like, hypertrophy is just growing the muscle. So it's workouts that grow the muscle, grow in bigger size. That's essentially what it is. This is going to be workouts where it's like an 8 to 12 rep range. So say you're doing bench press. If you reach failure within the 8 to 12 rep range, that's hypertrophy. Anything above that, that's going to be like more targeted towards endurance. Anything below that is more targeted for strength. What you want to do if specifically you like want to bulk up and like build more muscle, stay in that 8 to 12 rep range until failure, which is pretty much the point where you just can't do any more like reps. Like say you're on your 10th rep or whatever, you just can't like do that extra rep. That's like going to be like the hypertrophy zone. Don't get too bogged down with the specifics. I mean, you still can build muscle if you're in the strength zone or in the endurance zone, but optimally, you want to stay in the 8 to 12 rep range until failure. That's what's going to get you the most gains. Now, the next step is that you need to focus on your recovery. Because the thing that like shocks a lot of guys and that they just don't understand about like building muscle is that you don't actually build muscle in the gym or like when you're eating food. The muscle is actually built like during your sleep, during your recovery. The thing is, when you work out, when you're like pushing these weights or when you're eating food, or first off, when you're eating food, that's like getting the supplies that your body needs to build the muscle. When you're working out and like pushing those weights or whatever, you're breaking down the muscles and making these micro tears. To actually build the muscle, that's when you're like sleeping and recovering. That's when your body is actually taking the time to regenerate. Now, if you don't eat enough food throughout the day, your body isn't going to have the supplies to essentially like build up that muscle. Like it just doesn't have the resources to do that. And if you don't like do the workouts, you're not going to build the micro tears so that essentially your body doesn't know that it has to regenerate the muscle. Like it's just going to like essentially just build more fat. So if you already have the nutrition and the workouts down, you have to focus on your recovery, because that's when your body actually regenerates. That's when it's going to actually build the muscle. And if you aren't getting like enough sleep, if you aren't getting enough quality sleep, you're just disrupting your body's ability to build that muscle. And honestly, it can like, it just really stops you from like making that progress. But yeah, the thing that I wasn't doing right is that I was getting like 7 to 8 hours of sleep that like all these doctors recommend, but I would be doing it at inconsistent times. The thing is, if you want to maximize your recovery, you go to sleep at the same time every single day consistently. Wake up and go to bed at the same time every single day. I know this might be hard for a lot of guys, so you've kind of like got to just understand like what you can stay consistent with. But once you just lock that down, whatever that time period is, and you don't like fuck it up for any reasons, not to like stay out to party with friends, not to stay up playing video games or like watch your favorite show or anything, just make sure that you're going to sleep and waking up at the same time every single day. That's going to boost your recovery so much. I cannot stress that enough. Now, the fifth thing is going to be supplements. Now, this isn't really like a step this isn't like a crucial step necessarily, but it's something that I think a lot of guys they over focus on, and they don't really understand its use case essentially. So pretty much earlier into my journey, I was like focused a lot on supplements because I wanted to like boost my gains a lot faster. And in the fitness world, you're going to hear a lot about supplements, things like protein powders, pre-workout, and like a bunch of other things just to like boost your gains. But the thing is, like, you don't actually need it. And I guess it's just because like the way the fitness world is right now, like people will try to sell you supplements so they can make money, and they make it out to be something that it's not. And I don't want you to fall into the trap that I did, where I was just like spending a bunch of money on supplements that weren't actually like getting me the results that I thought it would. When it comes to building your physique or like becoming successful in anything in life, you've got to prioritize the fundamentals. The fundamentals are just going to be your nutrition, your workouts, and your recovery, and also your beliefs, because like that's the thing that may be holding you back. But everything else, like the supplements, or like pretty much the supplements, that's not as important. Like, make sure that you're getting the fundamentals down before you go into supplements. I'm not saying that supplements aren't helpful. They definitely can be useful. But, if you're not eating at a calorie surplus and you're taking this muscle building, protein powder or whatever, you're still not going to like make the gains that you want, because you're just not hitting that basic fundamental of like eating at a calorie surplus. Or you could be like taking pre-workout or something and expecting that to, build you more muscle. But again, if you're not taking the time to get proper recovery, if you're not doing the workouts, it doesn't matter if you take those supplements. It's just not going to, it can't replace the fundamentals, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. Make sure that you're hitting your fundamentals before you even consider taking any of these supplements. And don't think that the supplements can supplement the fundamentals. You can, take your time and like experiment with supplements if you want to, but I just want you to understand that the fundamentals come first, supplements come after. Now, by the way, since you've watched this far into the video, I can tell that you're fairly serious about like making a transformation in your physique. The other guys have already clicked off by now. They're just out watching or doing something else. Doesn't matter. But since you're here, I think you're more serious, and I want to offer you or tell you about my coaching offer. Pretty much is for the people who just want me to be their personal coach, to pretty much just give them a little bit more help and keep them accountable so that they can get results. If that's something that you'd be interested in, you can click the first link in the description. It will take you to my offer. But, if that's not something you're interested, it's completely fine. I'll continue to make videos like this to help guys like you. But other than that, I just want you to remember, if you want things to change for the better, it starts with you. Peace out.